The billionaire's hand froze in the air. The pen hovered just above the paper, shaking slightly. For the first time in many years, Victor Hale did not finish what he started. Around him, the office was silent, too silent. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the city he owned, buildings with his company name, streets shaped by his money, lives changed by his decisions. Men feared him. Companies fell because of him. Employees whispered his name like a curse. Victor Hale had fired 20 employees that month alone. Some cried, some begged. He felt nothing. People called him evil, wicked, heartless. He accepted those names like medals, because emotions were weaknesses, and weakness had once destroyed him. He signed deals that crushed competitors. He bought failing companies just to shut them down. He enjoyed control, not because it made him happy, but because it made him feel safe. Safe from loss, safe from remembering. But tonight, something was wrong. The signature line blurred as his eyes moved to the ring on his finger. A thin silver ring, old, scratched, faded. His chest tightened. 18 years ago, he had placed that ring into the small palm of his daughter, Lily. "You keep this," he had told her gently, "so you'll always find your way back home." That was the last day he saw her. The car crash, the hospital hallway, the doctor shaking his head. After that day, Victor buried everything, love, kindness, mercy, along with his child. The pen dropped from his fingers. A sharp knock broke the moment. "Sir," his assistant said carefully, "security flagged something unusual from tonight's footage." Victor hated interruptions, but something in her voice made him look up. "Play it," he said coldly. That night in another part of the property, Maria cleaned the kitchen quietly. She moved slowly, carefully, like someone afraid to make noise in a world that did not belong to her. Maria was the maid. To the staff, she was invisible. To the billionaire, she did not exist. She had worked there for 3 years, never late, never complained, never spoke unless spoken to. She needed the job. Her son was sick. Hospital bills came faster than her salary. Some nights she cried into her pillow so no one would hear. That evening, while wiping the counter, a small metallic sound fell to the floor. Clink. She bent down. A ring. Simple. Old. Beautiful in a quiet way. Maria picked it up gently. Something about it made her chest feel warm and sad. She slid it onto her finger, not to steal, but to keep it safe until morning. She whispered softly, "Someone loved this." She had no idea that those 4 words would change her life. Back in the mansion office, the security footage played. Victor leaned forward slowly. The screen showed the kitchen, bright lights, clean counters. Then, the maid. He watched with boredom until she bent down, until she lifted the object, until the camera zoomed just enough. His breath stopped. The ring, his ring, the one he gave his daughter. His heart slammed violently against his chest. "No," he whispered. For the first time in 18 years, the man feared something more than loss. He feared truth, and somewhere deep inside him, something long dead began to ache. Victor did not sleep that night. The mansion was quiet, but his mind was loud. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the ring, not on the screen, not on the maid's finger, but on his daughter's small hand. Lily used to laugh when the ring slipped down her finger. She would shake her hand and say, "Daddy, it's too big." He would smile and say, "You'll grow into it." That memory hit him like a punch to the chest. Victor sat on the edge of his bed, his expensive robe hanging loosely on his shoulders. For 18 years, he had trained himself not to feel. Pain was useless. Tears solved nothing. Yet tonight, his chest felt heavy, like something was pressing down on his heart. "How did that ring get here?" he whispered. The mansion had changed owners. The car was destroyed. Her belongings were gone. That ring was supposed to be buried with her, or so he believed. He stood up suddenly. "Find the maid," he ordered into his phone. "First thing in the morning." His voice was cold, but his hands were shaking. Maria also could not sleep. She lay on her thin mattress in the small staff quarters, staring at the ceiling. The ring rested beside her on the table. She had tried to return it earlier, but the supervisors were already gone. Now it lay there quietly, shining under the weak light bulb. She thought about her son, Daniel, 8 years old, thin, always smiling even when in pain. The doctor said he needed surgery. Soon. Maria did not know how she would pay for it. She touched the ring gently. It made her think of love, of someone who had cared deeply for another person. She whispered softly, "Whoever you belong to, I hope you find peace." She did not know that the man who owned that ring had lost his peace 18 years ago. Morning came fast.
Too fast. Victor stood in front of the mirror, staring at his reflection. The powerful billionaire looked tired, older, cracked. He remembered the day Lily disappeared from his life. He had chosen work over her school play. "I'll come next time," he had said. There was no next time. That guilt never left him. He just buried it under money. "Sir," the head of security said carefully, "the maid's name is Maria Alvarez. She's been here 3 years. No record of theft. No record doesn't mean innocence." Victor replied sharply, but his voice lacked strength. "They found Maria in the kitchen." She froze when she saw him walk in. Everyone knew him. The man who never smiled. The man who fired people without blinking. Her heart began to race. "Why, yes, sir," she said softly. Victor's eyes moved straight to her hand. "The ring." His throat tightened. "Where did you get that?" he asked. Maria's knees almost gave way. I found it on the floor last night," she said quickly. "I was going to return it. I swear. I didn't steal it." Her voice trembled. Victor watched her face closely. He expected fear. What he saw instead was honesty. And confusion. "Take it off," he said quietly. She slid it off and placed it on the counter with shaking fingers. The moment the ring touched the surface, something broke inside him. He picked it up. His breathing grew heavy. "This ring," he said slowly, "belonged to my daughter." Maria looked up, shocked. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't know. She died 18 years ago," he continued, his voice cracking for the first time in public. "Or, that's what I was told." Silence filled the kitchen. A deep, painful silence. Maria felt tears form in her eyes. "I lost someone too," she said softly. "My husband. Sometimes, life hides people from us. Not always forever." Victor looked at her. No one had spoken to him like that in years. Not with pity, not with fear, but with understanding. And for the first time, the wicked man felt something dangerous rise in his chest. Hope. Victor could not stop thinking about the ring. He had spent 18 years believing that the accident took Lily from him, that he was powerless, that fate had betrayed him. But seeing the ring on Maria's hand, even for a moment, stirred memories long buried. He remembered her laugh, her small hands, her tiny footsteps running down the hallway. And he remembered the promise he had made to protect her. He had failed. Guilt gnawed at him like fire in his chest. Victor decided he needed answers. He couldn't wait. He called a private investigator he trusted, someone who had worked quietly for him for years. "Find out everything about Maria Alvarez," he said. "Her past, her family, her connections. Everything." The investigator hesitated. "Sir, she's just a maid." "Are you sure?" Victor's face darkened. "I'm sure." He could not explain why he felt it. Only that something in the way she handled the ring. Gentle, careful, honest, told him this was no coincidence. Meanwhile, Maria went about her day, unaware of the storm she had triggered. Her son's surgery was tomorrow. She had worried all night about how she would pay for it. She thought about the ring often. Something about it made her feel calm, even when everything else felt impossible. It was a symbol of hope, though she didn't know whose. That evening, Victor returned home early. The mansion felt quiet. Too quiet. He walked straight to the kitchen. Maria froze. You again, she said softly, voice trembling. I need to know the truth, Victor said, his voice quieter than before. Less angry, more desperate. Maria's hands shook. I don't know what you mean, sir. Victor stepped closer, looking at her carefully. The ring. Where did it come from? Did someone give it to you? Did you find it? Maria swallowed. She wanted to tell the truth, that she had found it on the floor. But something in his eyes made her pause. I found it. On the floor last night, she said finally. I was going to return it to whoever it belongs to. I didn't take it. Victor's breathing was heavy. His mind raced. And then she said something he didn't expect. My son is sick, she whispered. I just want to help him. Her honesty, her fear, her courage. It struck him in a way he had not felt in decades. Later that night, Victor reviewed old files in his office. Photos, hospital records, flight manifests, notes, and he saw it. The accident had been real, but the details were wrong. Someone had hidden information. The private investigator confirmed it. Lily had survived the crash, but she had been taken by someone he trusted, someone who wanted to protect her from him. Victor's knees almost buckled. All the money, all the power, all the ruthless control he had built. It had not protected the one thing he truly wanted. His daughter. The billionaire who had been feared by thousands now felt small, powerless and human. And in the kitchen, Maria held the ring, thinking about her son. A small gesture of care had unknowingly reopened a father's heart. For the first time in 18 years, Victor felt the possibility of redemption. Victor could not sleep that night. The files lay on his desk, a silent accusation staring at him. Every photograph, every note, every hidden report whispered the truth he had long buried. Lily had survived the crash. She had not been taken by fate. She had been protected, hidden from him. The thought burned in his chest. He had spent years building walls of steel, crushing everyone around him. Yet the one person he truly loved had been kept from him. The next morning, Victor called Maria. I need your help, he said, voice softer than ever. I need to find her. Maria blinked. She had no idea that the ring, which had seemed like a small, meaningless object, held the key to a life lost. Of course, sir, she said gently. Her son's surgery was in 2 days. Yet something about helping Victor gave her courage. Victor returned to the private investigator. Find her, he said. Wherever she is. I don't care how long it takes. I just want to see her. Weeks of searching led to a small town far from the city, a town full of trees and sunshine, where a young woman lived a quiet life. She had grown into a kind, compassionate, and strong woman. Her laugh was still familiar. Her eyes still sparkled with innocence. It was Lily, his daughter. Alive, Victor stood outside her home. His hands shook. His chest felt tight, like it could explode. He thought of all the years lost, all the words he hadn't said, all the hugs he had missed. And yet, a spark of hope remained. He knocked on the door. Lily opened it slowly. For a moment, neither spoke. She looked at him, tall now, strong, independent. And yet, the same girl he had lost. Dad? Her voice was quiet. Yes, it's me, he whispered. Tears welled up in his eyes. His heart pounded. I thought I would never see you again, he said, voice breaking. Lily's eyes filled with tears too. I didn't know. I thought you had. He said, taking her hands. I am here now. That's all that matters. Meanwhile, Maria watched from a distance. She felt a warmth spread in her chest. Her own struggles, her son, the surgeries, the hardships. They all faded for a moment. She had helped reunite a family. Victor and Lily hugged. Long, trembling, heart-wrenching hugs. A father and daughter, torn apart by tragedy, finally together again. Victor's heart cracked open. The walls he had built with money and power crumbled. For the first time, he felt truly human. No more fear, no more control, only love. And somewhere deep inside, Maria smiled softly, holding the ring, a small object that had sparked hope, courage, and a reunion. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, Victor felt the power of something no money could buy: redemption. Victor walked into his office for the first time in months and felt different. The papers that once symbolized power now felt heavy, meaningless. The contracts, the deals, the ruthless control, they had all led him here, to this moment. Alive, awake, human. He looked at the silver ring on his desk, Lily's ring. Once a symbol of loss, now a symbol of hope and love regained. Lily had returned to the city. She did not run away. She wanted to understand the man her father had become. Victor and Lily spent days talking. Nights of confessions, stories, tears, and laughter. "I missed you every day," Victor said quietly one evening, holding her hand. "I know, Dad," Lily whispered. "I always felt you in my heart, even when I was far away." Victor felt something he had not felt in decades: peace. Maria's son, Daniel, had successfully undergone surgery. Maria visited Victor's mansion one morning to thank him, the man who had begun a new life, and indirectly saved her child's life. Victor looked at her warmly. "Thank you, Maria, for everything. For honesty, for care. You reminded me what it means to be human." Maria smiled softly. She had never imagined her life would intersect with a billionaire's in such a way that she felt proud. Courage, kindness, and compassion mattered, even in a world full of power and money. Victor began to change his life. He invested in hospitals and schools, not for publicity, but because he remembered what it felt like to lose someone. He treated his employees with respect. He listened. He learned. He apologized to those he had wronged. And he always kept Lily close. Every evening they would share dinner, tell stories, and laugh together. The mansion was no longer a fortress of fear. It was alive with warmth, laughter, and life. One afternoon, Victor watched Maria playing with Daniel in the garden. The boy laughed as she chased him, the sun shining brightly on them. Victor felt gratitude swell in his chest. He had been given a second chance, not just to see his daughter again, but to understand the value of love, humility, and kindness. He picked up the silver ring. He held it gently in his hand. "It's not just a ring," he whispered. "It's a reminder of everything I almost lost, and everything I can still save." And in that quiet moment, Victor Harley, once feared, ruthless, and broken, finally felt whole. The mansion, the city, the money, none of it mattered as much as this. Human connection. Love regained. Redemption earned. The billionaire had finally learned what it truly meant to live.